Solving and writing proportions is the topic of today's lesson. Okay, do you guys recall that we learned ratios? That was yesterday, right? So I might say a simple one like 3 to 5, which of course you guys would write this way more than likely, unless you like that other way. 3 to 5, and I might use that to say in the 8th grade class there are 3 girls to 5 boys. Okay? This would be a ratio that is in simplified form. Okay? 3 to 5. However, this would be the same thing as saying there are 6 girls to 10 boys. I better write G and B. This isn't in your book. I'm just kind of making this up for you. This would be the same thing as saying there are 12 girls to 20 boys. You guys see where I'm headed with this? A ratio can be renamed several different ways. Okay? And it really is dependent upon what your actual numbers are. Obviously, this is the reduced, simplest version to say 3 to 5. Okay? But what if this ratio, 3 to 5, was actually true, girls, boys, in a class of 30, you know what, I'm making a huge group, okay? In a group of 30 kids, or 30 boys. If there are 30 boys in a group, maybe I'm talking about 6th and 7th grade combined. I don't know, I'm just making this up, okay? What if there are 30 boys in a group with the exact same ratio? How many girls will you have? And how will you figure it out? Ethan, tell me. Yes. You simply renamed your fraction by determining what fraction equal to 1 the bottom number was multiplied by. 30 divided by 5, he said 6. So he then took that same number, multiplied it by the 3 to determine that in a large group where there's 30 boys, assuming the same ratio applies, you have 18 girls. Okay? And 18/30ths could be reduced to 3 to 5. That's another way you know that you're correct. Okay? What we have just done here is created a proportion. Okay? This is the creation of a proportion. Anybody bake over break? Any of you bake to the point where you had a recipe and you had to make it bigger because you wanted to maybe make more or perhaps make less? Oh yeah. Yeah. So let's just say I have a recipe for, and again, I'm totally making this up, for 1 batch of cookies, and it calls for 2 sugar and 3 flour. 2 sugar, 3 flour. Okay? What if I wanted to make 2 batches? What if I wanted to make 2 batches? What will I do to this to double it? Okay, this is another way you might use this. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, you would then say, okay, 2 of those is 4, double that is 6. Am I right? Did I double it correctly? Yes. Oh, look, a proportion. Okay? By multiplying both numbers by 2, I have now found out how much sugar, how much flour I need for 2 batches of the cookies, not to mention butter and whatever else, okay? All right, Each day, let's talk about an elephant. Each day, an elephant eats 5 pounds of food, and this is food, for every 100 pounds of body weight. Okay? Each day an elephant eats 5 pounds of food for every 100 pounds of body weight. Which, by the way, is the same thing as saying he equals 1 pound of food for every 20 pounds of body weight. Would you agree? By taking this and reducing it, I have created a proportion that is an easier number. I like everything to be easy. In example 3, which I want to just jump right ahead to example 3 with you. We'll backtrack a little bit. But in example 3, it says, use this information to determine how much food an elephant that weighs 9,300 pounds will eat per day. Okay, so I am going to start with 5 over 100. Okay, that's food, and I'm not using this one for a reason, but that's food over body weight. And I want to find out, because I'm a zookeeper, how much food I have to pay, or I have to give to my 9,300 pound elephant. Now, there's 2 different ways of doing this. Okay, 2 different ways of doing this. The first way is the way Ethan used. Ethan said, well, 9,300 divided by 100 is 93. Therefore, since I multiplied 100 by 93, I can do the same thing on the top and create the new numerator. So the new numerator would be 93 times 5, 465 pounds of food per day, mind you, per day. I can't even fathom 465 pounds of food, but this is one method of doing it. Okay, it was really easy to see that you divide 9,300 by 100 and you get that. But there's another way of doing it. If I know the original ratio and I want to equate it with a new one, I can also create an algebraic problem to help me solve. Okay, here's how it works. We happen to know the denominator here, but we didn't know the numerator. Okay, so I put in a variable x. You can use whatever you want for the variable there. And since these two are equal fractions, that means their cross products are equal. Cross product meaning the product of 5 and 9,300 equals the product of 100 and x. Okay? So if I take this and I say 100 times x equals 9,300 times 5, which is 46500, and divide by 100 to solve for x, I end up with the exact same answer as I came up with above using the other method. Okay? As mentioned, this is example 3. Either of these methods will work for you. Okay? Let's go back and start at the beginning with example 1. Now that I've introduced you to these 2 scenarios, I want to go a little further with it. And we are now on page 275. Okay? Okay, example 1 says, solve this proportion. 5 over 6 is equivalent to some number over 18, right? Now, if I do it the way Ethan taught, we do 18 divided by 6, which gave us a 3. So, we multiply 6 by 3 to get 18. In the same way, we would multiply 5 by 3, and we would find out that the answer for the other side is 15, making it 15/18ths, right? That's the first way of doing it. That's the elephant's first method. If it wasn't clear to you that 18 divided by 6 is 3, you can also use what is called that cross product method. Okay? Multiplying, if I have two fractions that are equal, that means their cross products are equal, which means the product of 6 and x, which is 6x, has to equal the product of 5 and 18, which is, it shouldn't be a negative 90, which is 90. It must have hit the negative symbol. Solve by dividing out your 6, which gives you the same exact answer. Okay, so this is multiplying by a fraction that equals 1 to create an equivalent fraction, and this is using the cross product. For these easy ones, obviously you're going to do it this way. But if it is a number that you don't immediately recognize what relationship was shared, you're going to want to use the cross product. Okay? How are you guys feeling about this so far? Okay? It's not too shabby, right? We're going to go ahead and do another one. We're going to go into example 2. Example 2 says x divided by 12 is equal to 2/8. Okay? They could have written it the other way. 2/8 is equal to x over 12. Doesn't make a difference, right? What on earth would you do if you were Ethan? You would say, multiply both pieces by 1.5? Really, we don't think that way. It would work. It definitely would work. Okay? Because 12 divided by 8 indeed is 1.5. But the better way of doing this is the cross product method. Okay? The cross product method, which is x over 12 equals 2/8. So because I've told you they're equal, that means their cross products are equal, which means x times 8, which is 8x, is equal to 12 times 2, which is 24. Divide to eliminate the coefficient, which is 8, and you end up with x equaling 3. Isn't that exactly what we would have come up with here? Yes, ma'am. Sure, you could have done 1 and 4. Yeah, you could have done 1 and 4, because this is the same as 1/4. What Haley just recognized is, if she said x over 12 equals 1/4, that would have been just fine as well. Okay? It really kind of depends upon how your mind works. And if you see that, yes, absolutely do it. Okay. I would like us to do checkpoint number 9. Checkpoint number 9, we're doing the elephants again. Checkpoint number 9, which says, based on the information on 275, which is 5 pounds of food per 100 pounds of elephant, find out how much food a 12,500 pound elephant would eat. Okay. Maybe you want to reduce it to 1 in 20. Or maybe you want to keep it as it is and divide 12.5 by 100. 12.5 by 100, what do you get? 125. So that would mean if I multiply the bottom by 125, as is indicated here, I must do the top by 125, which results in 625 pounds of food. Okay? If you didn't recognize that 125 was easily divisible by 100, you could have done the cross product method. This is so handy. I cannot tell you how handy this is. You're going to use it in more ways than you realize. Cross product would mean 100x is equal to whatever 5 times 12, 5 is. 62, 5. Divide by 100, and you end up with the same answer. Okay? I'm sorry. Looks like we're all set. Yep. Okay. Are we good so far? Okay. Do you guys have any questions on this before I let you go ahead and start working? You're doing 10 through 30 evens today. 10 through 30 evens. That's not a lot. Okay.